once again, trainees. Today our lesson will be based on logical operators or operators in general. We will be covering arithmetic, comparison, and logical. So that will be our topic for today. So we have arithmetic, comparison, and logical. So first of all, we must understand what are operators. Here we have the definition. There is some volunteer kind of reading for us what are operators, and we will have a practice at the end of the class, so you guys can practice what you learned. So let us have Kelvin kind of read for us what are operators.
Operators are symbols that are used to perform operation on operand. Operands mean variables or constant.
Okay, so we have the definition here. Thank you very much, Kelvin. There are symbols that are used to perform operations on operands, or in this case, variables. So we have the first example. Let's say 2 plus 1. I think this is very basic. We have an integer with a value a is equal to 2, and an integer value b is equal to 3. I think this is very basic. I just focus on the board a little while. So we look at these right here. These are variables. We have discussed what are variables. Now putting this into place or into perspective as it pertains to arithmetic, we have to add something else. So there needs to be an operand or an operator. In this case, our operator would be the plus symbol. So this would be the operator, and the others would be what? So we have A and B. What would the others be? Jeremy? They are considered as what? A and B? Variables. Good. So these are considered as variables, and for it to be an arithmetic operator, it must have the variables and the operator to be visible in your code. So we are dealing with C#, we are dealing with programming, object-oriented programming, so we must put this into place. In this case, we have another example, double x, and x is equal to 50.05. Now, let us try and create these variables using C#. So I want everyone to open up your C# and you will create a new document, and this document will be called Operators Practice. Underscore practice. So now we will try to put this into place by using object-oriented programming. I guess you guys already have an idea of what is operators, but now let us put this into place. So let me just close this one. I will open up my new file. Just remember that it's .NET Framework. I will save this as operator practice. Now that I have that available, let us go ahead and add a couple of tools in here. We will access the toolbox, and let us add a label. Two labels, sorry, and two numbers, two text boxes that will contain your numbers. So with that being said, guys, you have now created your labels and your input. In this case, our input or form of input would be the text box. You can edit the label and the text box to make it bigger by changing the font size, making it a little bit more larger for it to be visible. In this case, we make it a little bit larger, and now we can include what is the concept of using the logical the arithmetic operators. So step one would be changing this to label 1 to number 1 in the text, because you want it to represent a number. In this case, on the board, you can see we have 8a is equal to 2 and 8b is equal to 3. So let's change that to number 1. And let's change the text for this as well. And we will change this to number 2. Okay, everyone? Everyone has that? Everyone, good. You can edit your form as the time progresses. Okay, now that that has been established, I want you to open up a group box and I want you to insert everything that you have created, to insert it inside the group box. Why? Because we need to work organized and we need to work for different instances. In this case, we will insert a group box. So just look for a tool called group box, extend it, and we will insert. You can select, as you can see, you can select and you can highlight, and you can take that information inside the group box, and now you can maneuver this at any point. So the first one that we will be doing is adding. What do you think is missing here? What do we need for this to work? Anybody has an idea? Anybody? Huh? Buttons, good. So we need a button for it to work. And our button must do a certain action. In this case, we want it to what? Look at the board. What do we want it to do? To plus. So let us add a button that will be able to add these two numbers that I placed. So everyone kindly, let us add a button to the instance, and I will now change that button to add. Since I wanted to perform something, in this case I wanted to add. And again, you can use your creativity. You're not limited to what I say. You guys can use your own creativity to enhance your buttons or enhance your program. In that case, I have placed it as add. Now, if I were to run my program, guys, and I take a look at this, if I click on add, nothing happens. What is missing? Tanyon, what is missing, Tanyon? The coding. Good. So we must quote this for it to function. In this case, let us double click on the add button and we will insert the coding. But before we do that, what must we do is insert our variables. In this case, our variables would be int A and int B. Sorry. So currently where the form starts, where it says public partial class forum 1, forum 2, that forum, sorry, you will underneath that you will put your very good. Just be inside the video just backtrack a little bit.
So it has to be inside that place.
So now we have our integers. We can now assign values to them. In this case, let us assign 10 and 20. In this case, A will be equal to 10 and B will be equal to 20. With your semicolon at the back, and now you will see that A has a value of 10, so I can put equals to 10 and B is equal to 20. So we have 10 and 20. These two have the values of my variables. A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20. So if we add A plus B, the answer should be 30 by logic. So what else can we do now? Let's see how it has been going. What else can we do now? Anybody has an idea? No, it's after the thing. Okay, now let us take a look at the following. We have two text boxes in which this information will be placed. So what must we do? We must rename this text box. So we have our first text box where number 1 is placed. Let's rename it, and let's rename it as num1 box. So that would be the name, and that would take now the place of the following. In this case, we have name. That would be my label. The box, this would be my text box. So we must change the name only of the text box and not the label. That is very important. So I will rename this as num1_box, and I will rename the other one as num2_box. Did everyone manage to change their names? Okay, now that we have established that, now how would we add these numbers? If I double click on my add, I will notice that I don't have any information. So what we must do, we must convert this information. In this case, what type of variable are we getting right here? Jeremy, which type of variable? It's an integer. So we must convert this to text. In this case, this is a text box. So a text box always will come with text. So what we must do is open the following. We will do the following as it pertains to the button click. Whenever I click add, the following should happen. In this case, let us add the variable and we will put total is equal to, oh sorry, we must put another integer called total. Here at the top, put another integer called total. This integer will be to hold a plus b. So this variable right here will be to hold the answer for a plus b. So right here we can put total is equal to a plus b. Semicolon, and I already have the calculation of total a plus b. You can add comments as well. I would appreciate if you can write your comments. Right here I can put variables for operands. Here I can put beside the total, I can put formula for addition. And now I can do the conversions. So all I did right here is nothing out of the ordinary. All I did is click on my add button and I have placed the formula that will calculate a plus b. We already know that the answer is 30, but we must do it in coding. A plus b would be the total is equal to a plus b would be the answer for. Now that I have done that, good, good. More. Good. Your case now actually dots to string. String. On this. Okay, I want to see what is happening. See this? How did you name this? I'll find a name for this. Alright, now we'll just put the box. Because I'm leaving this dot text string dot take out that the string here. Good. In brackets, put A. Good. Now that we have done that, let us now convert the other one. So let us convert now to box. My text box in where number 2 is being sub 4 and we will convert now B. So now B will be converted, and now if I run my code, if I click on add, then I have number 1 and number 2. So I have now number 1 being 10, number 2 being 20, and we have one more left, which is total. And total would basically be the same thing. The one that will change is total box. Now in this case, total box dot text is equal to convert that to string. Now this will convert total. Very easy, very simple, nothing out of this world. All we're doing is adding 2 variables, and this will be another comment right here that can say conversion for numbers. Numbers to string. And now we can see if it will add, and then I will go around and check to see that you guys are doing your work, that it came out. So right here I have our first answer. We have 10 plus 20 is 30. There is the total. Thumbs out, Andrea? All right, very good. Yeah, they're very good. Yeah, Nelly? Did it work? No. You don't have to put the numbers. Yes. Work wrong. No, just put add. Okay, good. Now, let us do the same thing, guys. Let us repeat the same thing, but now we will repeat the same thing for minus. This will basically be the same thing. The only thing that will change is the operator. In this case, our operator will be minus. So we will be doing like a short calculator. Let's add a couple more boxes. I can copy and I can paste, since we need time to finish. So I have add, I will put subtract, multiply, and the last one divide. And the last one would be divide. So we will repeat the same thing. In this case, we would take subtraction, and we can take the same code if you have done this code, and we can paste it in the subtract button, and all we will need to do is change the operator. In this case, we are changing the operator to minus instead of adding. So now if I run my code and I press sum, now we see 10 minus 20 gives me negative 10, which is correct. So negative 10 would be the answer. And we can go even a step further to doing multiplication and doing division. So we will do basically the same thing, repeat the same process. All I will do is change now this to times, and I will change this to divide. So all I'm doing is creating my new buttons. And with this now, if I run my code, I can test to see that it is functioning. You can add, you can subtract, you can multiply, and you can divide. Okay? In this case, it will be 0 because 10 cannot be divided by 20. Now, if we had it the other way around, by putting just an example, let's say I had this as 20 and this as 10, just showing you an example, and then yes, it can divide. Okay. Now my division will see 10 divided by 20, 20 divided by 10, sorry, will be 2. It will multiply, it will subtract, and it will add. Okay? Any questions? Any concerns? Yes? Alright guys, did everyone manage to get their operators working? Jeremy, Canyon, Kelvin, Lianele, did it work? Good. Candy? Good? Okay. Now, we have worked with arithmetic values. Let us change the group box name and let us change it to arithmetic. The text of my group box, let's change it to arithmetic operands or operators. And we can, sorry, I need to take out my caps lock. Now, what we can do is open a new group box. So we will be opening a new group box and we will be doing a little bit more discussion in which I want you guys to do some reading. So there we have our second group box. This will be just create a group box. And now we can revert back to our notes. And here we have the second one. relational operators. Let's take a look at the following. Let us have a volunteer reading. Loud and clear. Candy, can you kindly read for us what are relational operators?
Relational operators are used to check the relationship between two operands. If the relationship is true, the result will be true. Otherwise, it will result in false.
Okay, take a look at the following, guys. We have, there needs to be a relationship between two operators. One must be true, and if it isn't true, then it will be false. So, the symbols used for operation, for relational operations, we have the following. You guys should already have it, but take out your notebooks and just write the following operators in C# equals, this is the definition, the example you don't have to put it because we will do an example today. But I want you to put equals to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and not equal to. So those are my 6 operators for relational operators. So if I erase the board here, meanwhile you guys are writing, I will now take a look at relational operators. And the meaning says that it must have either a true value or a false value. In this case, we have relational operators. Can you just write down that information? It doesn't have to be all of it, the example, just a quick summary of it. We're not oh, by the way, I will pass around and give you your criteria for the activity. This will be worth 20 points. Meanwhile, you guys are copying this down. And this is the activity that we are doing. Okay, thank you very much. So now since you guys have looked at the following, let us now try it out. So we have these operators there for relational operators, but now we must try it. Let us go ahead and, oh, sorry. I think not everyone has finished writing. Ready, guys? Everyone? Good to go? Okay, good. Let us now work with relational operators. So, and why we are doing this? Because we want to make sure that you understand the coding when we get to that higher level in object-oriented programming. We will be putting labels. What you can do as well to make it easier or to make it faster, you can copy and paste these labels, the ones that you already created, and you can put them inside your input box. Let's change the text to equals to greater than, less than, than and equal to or and greater than. Sorry, it should be greater than and, sorry, or instead of and. And the final one, not equal to. Now, with that being said, we can now add our text boxes. We can use these same text boxes, but bear in mind that each one has to change name. We can use it for now, but bear in mind that each text box has to change the name of the variable or where the text box is being placed. Okay, now we can change the name for these text boxes. To make it easier for you, you can name it just the first name of that. So in this case, I will name it E. Since E stands for equals to, I will put equal box, or E box, sorry. E box. The second one, I can put it as G box. The third one, I can put it as L box. The fourth one, I can put it as GT box. The fifth, I can put it as LT box. And the last one as NE box. What is missing here is my button. Let me take the same button and just modify it. I can take the same button and just modify it. Right here, I can put it as solve. Okay, I need everyone to be on the same pace before I go ahead and move, because I don't want anyone to like the E box, G box. And the other one LT box and NT box. Good. The bottom. Okay. Good. So now we take a look at the following. We need to put a certain code in solve for it to look at these variables or these operands, because we're testing operators from each section, each type. In this case, let us double click on solve, and we will go at the top Guys, just make this change. I know you're editing your file, but just make this change because I don't want anyone to get left behind. We will be pulling a new variable. In this case, our variable will be a bool. Why will it be a bool? Because it has to be either true or false. That was mentioned in the notes. In the notes that I gave you, it says it has to be either true or false. So in this case, we will be putting the bool variable, and this bool variable will be called results. Now, once I have that, I can double click on solve again, and I can now add my code. In this case, I can put results is equal to A is equal to B, and that will be basically my equal to operand. I can put a comment there, or operator. And the other one would be the box that I placed there, the name of my box. In this case, the name of my box is what? E-box, in my case. I don't know what you guys named it as, but in my case, it is E-box. So I put E-box dot text is equal to convert to string, and in this case, I will put my bool, which is results. Semicolon at the back, and then I can just put here conversion. Okay, now if I take a look at this, is A equal to B? Is it true or is it false? If A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20, is what? It is false. So in my results, it should show as false. Yes.
No, because you need to declare the results at the top where the variables are. Where the see? Bool. No. Bool should be up here. Up here,
Bool. Bool results.
space results.
Yes. Semicolon.
You end up the tutorial room?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yes? Bool. Space. Results. Semicolon.
No, you don't put this code?
Got it? Okay, now, if we run the code, and we take a closer look at the following, okay, right now. Okay, now that you have that, if I run my code, if I run my program, we take a look at following, and we already know if is A is equal to 20 and B is equal to 10. And then in this case we're testing to see is A equal to B. Is that true or false? That is false. So in this case, when I click on solve, where it says equals to should say false. So we can see that up there it says false. So we can clearly see that our program is running smoothly. So now we can do the other conversions, the other operands. In this case, we will need to put results again. Sorry. Results is equals to, and it will be testing A is greater than. Greater than B, is it greater than B? True or false? Then all we need to do is look for the following. In this case, look for my variable name. In this case, my variable name is called what? It is called gbox. So if we put gbox, the text is equal to convert the string, and again we will still use results because that will be used throughout throughout this entire code. So if I click on solve, then we can see more information. I mean, if we look at it, in my case, I have that A is equal to 20 and B is equal to 10. That is what I have in my case. I don't know if you guys have something different, but in my case, I have A is equal to 20 and B is equal to 10. And let's do the rest of them. So now, yes, since you guys already understand it, we can copy and paste, and now we can change only the operands. More than or equal to, instead of gbox, you would put the other text boxes like GE, L box. Okay, all I need to do is change the operands and change the box name. In this case, I have all my boxes should be named differently. No one can be named the same, or else you will have an error, a logical error. And now that we have that, I can run my code, and I can see that it is now shaping up. So now I have all my other operands, which is equals to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. And in this case, you have false, true, and it should be false, false. Got it? Should be so guys, kindly finish from where we left off. In this case, I finished at here. Let's see if we can finish less than and not equal to. Again, copying and pasting will help you out a lot. Also put comments. I always urge you to put comments. because comments will help you out. It might look like it doesn't help, but trust me, it does help. So all I need to change is the operands. You have the operands on your notebooks. You can follow from your notebooks. So I have A is equal to B, A is more than B, A is less than B, and it is testing the logics whether it is true or false. A is more than or equal to B, A is less than or equal to B, and A is not equal to B. Once you have all of them, you click on solve. Oh, sorry, I didn't change the name of my boxes. LT box. Yeah, LT box and AT box. Now I can successfully run my code. I can plus, and I can also do this. So I have my calculator, which can add, divide, subtract, and so forth. And I have my true and false statements right here, my condition, relational operators. For those who are finished with this, you can kindly rename it. Rename it to relational operators. Okay, I'll go around right now and check to see that you guys are doing your work. Also put comments. I forgot to put comments on my one for some of them, but I will put the comments right now. So yeah, I will put comments, greater than, less than, and so forth. So I'll greater than operator. Make it easier by copying and pasting. But you must understand what you're copying and pasting, and not just copying and pasting. Just like that. What happened? I'm drowning. I'll go around right now. The enemy, how's it going? Did it work? Okay. There's so much? No, because you have to change. What is it? You have to go to your phone. Change A to 20, change B to 10. B to 10. Perfect. Good. How is it going on journey? Worked. Good. And now we can move on to section number 3. Section number 3 will have the following. So let us go back to our notes. For those of you who have finished, and if you haven't finished, continue working while we finish the last discussion. And this is the last one. This is the last one, guys. We have unary operators. So let's take a look at this. Can a volunteer? Anjani, can you kindly read for us the following?
Unlike other operators, unary operators operates on a single operand.
Okay, so this one is operates on a single operand, and something very good about this is that you can increment and you can decrement. There is other values that you can have, other operands that you can have, But the best ones to use right here will be increment and decrement. And if you in the future you want to be a game developer, you want to be a software developer, these are the ones that you would use for increments and decrements. So let us open up a new section in our code. And this new section would be the following. Open up a new group box. This group box will now be renamed as unary operators. And this one is very simple. It is more getting it to function and getting it to work. In this case, we have A is equal to 20 and B is equal to 10. So we will be adding a new variable. And before we do that, let us create the design for this. In this case, the design will be the following. It would be value, a label called value, a label called greater than, less than, or equal to. Okay, and the last one would be creating a text box and creating two separate buttons. So in this case, we want to increment. In this case, we have number 1. And let's go ahead, guys, and insert our last text box and our last button. Okay, the text for this would be go forward and go backwards. Also, we make my text a little bit smaller because I made it a little bit larger and it doesn't show. So I would go forward and go backwards. It is still a little bit big. I will try to make it a bit smaller. I want it to be visible. I will just spell group up. I think that is the easiest solution, or an easier solution. Now that I have that, does everyone have that before I move on? Because I need to know before we add an increment to the variable. Yes. Number 1. Oh, sorry. No. Value. Sorry. It's just value. Alright. So it's just value, and in this case, the value will be number 1. Okay? And why we wanted to show that it can go forward and it can go backwards. Now, in this case, we will take the value of number 1. The value of number 1 is equal to 20. But we want that to go here up or down. So how would we do that? We will add in the, let's go forward first. Let us add in this, our button, we will add a new variable. So at the top, let's add a new variable. This variable will be called player. Int player. Integer player, because we're dealing with numbers and we want this to show that we are doing like a game. Got it? Clear? Got it? How about your variables? Great. Now, take a look at the following. Let us add now an increment to this player. We can go back to the design and for us to make a little sharper, let's go and click on our button. Now, what we can do is add player is equal to plus plus A. And we can now display. So we can say, oh, before we display it, so all we need to do is player is equal to plus plus A. This I can write the comment there as operator for increment. Now, we can look at the text box beside where it says value, and we can name this or rename this text box as something that we can identify. In this case, I can call it value box. So I call it value box. If you guys want to change the name, I have no problem. But I will double click now on the following, and I can now add values to my box. In this case, we will put value box dot text is equal to convert that to string number 1. In this case, number 1 is A. So A is used to identify number 1, and then I can just put conversion as my comment. And now look at the following guys. If I click on start now, if I run my code and I click on go forward, look at what happens now. The value of A now changes to 21. I can go even further. Let's say I go way up to 50. So just by clicking on my button, I can go way up to 50. Now, this would also affect all your other variables here. So for add, now this number 1 now becomes 50. 50 plus 10 now becomes 60. If I subtract 50 minus 10, multiply 50 times 100, divide 50 divided by 10. And it will also affect here. So anything that I do will affect my numbers. In this case, it is only affecting one number, which is A. In this case, the value of A now can either change, can either increment, or it can decrement. Okay, good. Works. So the last piece, guys, before we finish, the last piece would be to go backwards. Because if you go forward, you must go back as well. So what we will do is The following minus minus, this is now decrement instead of increment. You can put it as decrement. It will still have the same value box. And if I run my code, I can go forward now and I can go backward. So I can even go all the way up to, let's say, 1. And you can even go to the negative number. See? -8. But let's put it at around 4. So now my addition would change, my subtraction would change, my multiplication, and even where it says sub. Now these would change. Or I can put it equivalent, meaning that it will go, both of them be 10. Okay? So it all depends on what you guys put there. So you can either go forward, all by a mouse click, or you can go backwards. Okay? Is it clear? Did it work? Okay. Okay, very good. Let's now design our code. And with that, we are finished, guys. With that, we finish our class. Let's design the code. In this case, we can add colors, we can add backgrounds. So let's add a background. If you want to add a background to my forum, I see some of you already have it, which is very good. But you can change the colors, you can change the buttons as well. You want to change the highlights of the buttons. So I have no problem with that. You can highlight it. And with that being said, we can finish. Open up your Google Classroom, and I want you to upload this. I will create a section on your Google Classroom. And I want you guys to upload your work. If you have any questions, any concerns, kindly raise your hand. If there are any questions, then kindly upload your work and ensure that it has been saved. Okay? Okay, so I have my application here. We have our app. And if there are any questions, any concerns, anybody has any doubts, anything you want to clear, if not, then we can end it off. And I want you guys to upload your work, and we are done. Okay, I will place a section in your Google Classroom to kindly upload this file. So you can use the Google Classroom to upload your files, and we will save this as operand or operator practice. Yes. Yes. This is out of 20 points. I have placed it there, so that is model 3, OOP, and that is operator practice, and that is activity number 4. So upload your assignments. Once you have handed your work,
Yes.
the
File.
so yeah. Okay, very good. Okay guys, congratulations, you have finished. And once you have uploaded, you are able to view. Non-existence. Okay, see? Your arrow will be like blue.
Non-existent. See, that's why it is blue.
Okay, I can see that one person has handed in. With that being said, Jeremy, I think it's Jeremy, right? I think you have approved it. Okay, I'll have Jeremy and Daniel. Good. I can see your work is good. You're able to leave. It's already lunchtime. Enjoy your lunch. So we end off the class. Good. I have Jeremy and I have Daniel. Daniel, you should have a screenshot the actual running of the program. Copy.
Yeah, because I need to see the run.
Look at the next class. I just change it. Okay, you can exit this way out. Gentlemen. Yes. You can exit from here.